Peter Rabbit 2, The Runaway is a 2021 live-action animated comedy film directed by Will Gluck, who co-wrote the screenplay with Patrick Burley, based on the Peter Rabbit stories by Beatrix Potter. James Corden reprises his role as Peter Rabbit, alongside Rose Byrne, Domhnall Gleeson, and David Oyelowo in live-action roles, and the voices of Elizabeth Debicki and Margot Robbie. After facing numerous delays from its original February 2020 release date due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the film was released theatrically by Sony Pictures, releasing in Australia on March 25, 2021, in the United Kingdom on May 17 and in the United States on June 11. The film received mixed reviews from critics and grossed $157 million. Plot. Sometime after the events of the first film, Thomas McGregor and Beatrix Potter get married, with their friends, human and animal, attending, while Peter Rabbit accepts having Thomas in his life. A month after their honeymoon, Thomas helps BEA as she works on her children's storybook based on Peter and his friends, but Peter is disappointed that the book portrays him as naughty. After getting a letter from a publishing company wanting to distribute the book, Thomas and BEA take Peter, Benjamin, Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cottontail to meet the publisher, Nigel Basil-Jones, who presents his marketing plan, which paints Peter as a troublemaker and shows a billboard design for a potential movie that makes him look villainous. Dismayed, Peter walks away from the group and goes into town, where he meets an older rabbit named Barnabas, who claims to be an old friend of his late father. They are snared by animal catchers, who take them to a pet pound, where they were taken in by a girl named Amelia. Barnabas and Peter raid the family's fridge with the help of Barnabas' crew, and take the food back to their hideout. Barnabas talks about how his father used to steal for Peter and his sisters to keep their bellies full, until Thomas and BEA find Peter and bring him home. The next morning, Peter tells Benjamin about Barnabas and convinces him and his sisters to join him in meeting the crew. Recognizing Peter's sisters and Benjamin, Barnabas divulges his big plan to rob from the farmer's market, with their big score being packs of dried fruit. The rabbits gather help from their animal friends to pull off their heist. Thomas and BEA meet with Nigel again to go over the designs for the rabbits, but after already having them dressed up in contemporary clothes, Nigel makes more suggestions for the next book. Thomas starts to realize that Nigel's ideas are not in the best interests of Bee's work. The animals arrive at the market and get away with the dried fruits, but all of Peter's friends, including Benjamin and the sisters, are captured by the animal catchers when they sneak into a petting zoo. Barnabas reveals he was intending to keep the dried fruit for himself, while explaining that, after being rejected by humans in the pound due to his old age, he intentionally met Peter in town after reading about him in his book, never even knowing his father. Feeling guilty, Peter leaves Barnabas and enlists Thomas to help rescue his friends. After hitting a snag with their truck, they go to BEA for help while she is in a meeting with Nigel, who wants to put Peter and his friends in a ludicrous space adventure as well as a dangerously unpredictable rescue mission as a way to end the story. BEA pulls her stories from Nigel's company and helps Thomas and Peter rescue their friends while going on over-the-top missions to find them. Peter and his family then go to Barnabas's hideout, where they turn the tables by tying Barnabas and his crew to ropes so that they can get pulled away when the nearby tailor shop owner leaves in his truck, leading them to get taken to the pound. The rabbits return the dried fruit to the market sellers, and rejoin Thomas and BEA as they drive home, with Peter deciding to be more willing to listen to the ones that love him. Sometime later, Thomas and BEA became parents to a baby girl, and BEA names the new book Peter Rabbit 2, The Runaway. Cast. Live action. Rose Byrne as BEA, the wife of Thomas McGregor. Domhnall Gleeson as Thomas McGregor, the former villain and husband of BEA. David Oyelowo as Nigel Basil-Jones. Voice. James Corden as Peter Rabbit, Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cottontail's brother and Benjamin's cousin. Margot Robbie as Flopsy Rabbit / the narrator. Elizabeth Debicki as Mopsy Rabbit. Amy Horn as Cottontail Rabbit. Colin Moody as Benjamin Bunny. Lenny James as Barnabas. Damon Harriman as Tom Kitten. Haley Atwell as Mittens. Rupert Degas as Samuel Whiskers / Little Pig Robinson / Trainer Von Stoffenmouse / Kennedy Saint Squirrel 6. SIA as Mrs. Tiggy Winkle. Sam Neill as Tommy Brock. Ewan Leslie as Pigling Bland. David Wenham as Johnny Town Mouse. Will Reichelt as JW Rooster 2. Christian Gazelle as Felix D. Ear. Tim Minchin as Busker K. Bushy, ESQ. Stuart Alves as Mr. Todd. Faison Munawar Varia as Ray Rabbit. Production. In May 2018, it was announced that Sony Pictures had started the development of the sequel to Peter Rabbit. 7 In February 2019, it was announced David Oyelowo had joined the cast of the film, with Rose Byrne and Domhnall Gleeson reprising their roles from the first. 8 Elizabeth Debicki and Margot Robbie were confirmed to reprise their respective roles in October 2019. 9. Principal photography began in January 2019 in Centennial Parklands, Australia. 10-11 Filming took place in the Lake District at Ambleside and Haverthwaite, around Hill Street and Richmond Bridge in London, Gloucester Docks, a replica of the House of the Tailor of Gloucester, and in Camden, New South Wales. 12. Music. Main article, Peter Rabbit 2, The Runaway, soundtrack. The film score was composed by Dominic Lewis. A score album was released through Madison Gate Records on June 18, 2021. Release. A bus advertising the film in Somerset. Peter Rabbit 2, The Runaway was theatrically released in Australia on March 25, 2021, 13 in the United Kingdom on May 17, and in the United States on June 11. It was initially set to be released in the United States on February 7, 2027 before being moved back to April 3, 2020, earlier in Australia on March 19, and in the United Kingdom on March 27. 14 The film was delayed again to August 7, 2020, due to the COVID-19 pandemic. 15 It was then further delayed to January 15, 2021, in the United States. 16 Then to April 2017, and again to June 11. 18 The date was then moved up to May 14 before moving back again to July 2019, then moving up once more to June 18, 20, and then once again back to June 11, following the film's box office success outside of the United States. 21. Home media. Peter Rabbit 2, The Runaway was released as a purchase on VOD on July 27, 2021, and was released on DVD, Blu-ray and Ultra HD Blu-ray on August 24, 2021, by Sony Pictures Home Entertainment. Reception. Box office. Peter Rabbit 2, The Runaway grossed $40.5 million in the United States and Canada, and $116.7 million in other territories, for a worldwide total of $157.2 million. 4-5. In the United States and Canada, Peter Rabbit 2 was released alongside In the Heights and The House Next Door, Meet the Blacks 2, and was projected to gross $16 to $20 million from 3,346 theaters in its opening weekend, with Sony predicting a more modest $8 to $10 million debut. 22 The film made $4 million on its first day, including $900,000 from Thursday night previews. It went on to debut to $10.1 million, finishing fourth behind A Quiet Place Part 2, In the Heights, and The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. 23 The film fell 39.8% in its second weekend, grossing $6.1 million, and finishing in third. 24 In its third weekend, the film fell 21.5% and grossed $4.8 million, finishing in fourth. 25. In Australia, the film debuted to $2.1 million. 26 By its third weekend in the country, where it made $2.5 million, the film had a running total of $9.2 million. 27 In the UK, the film topped the charts in the first 3 days of cinemas reopening, making $6.4 million. 28.3. Critical response. On the review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes, 67% of 76 critics' reviews are positive, with an average rating of 6/10. The website's consensus reads, an enjoyably silly and self-aware sequel, Peter Rabbit 2, The Runaway should leave fans of the original feeling fairly hoppy. 29. Metacritic, which uses a weighted average, assigned the film a score of 43 out of 100, based on 14 critics, indicating mixed or average reviews. 30 audiences polled by CinemaScore gave the film an average grade of A on an A+ to F scale, while Post-Track reported 74% of audience members gave it a positive score, with 45% saying they would definitely recommend it. 23. Courtney Howard of Variety called it a superior sequel and said the film serves as both a meta-commentary on his humbling past antics and a pivotal point for the eponymous protagonist. 31. Brian Penn of UK Film Review called it a great popcorn movie and said the voicing actors are undoubtedly the stars even though the humans on screen are perfectly fine. 32. Ian Freer of Empire rated the film 3 out of 5 stars, writing it feels a little thin and generic compared to family fare like The Mitchells vs. the Machines, but the Byrne-Gleeson combo is winning and Gluck injects just enough slapstick and smarts to justify the last gasp gag about a sequel. It's no Paddington 2, but Peter Rabbit 2 works well thanks to a mocking sense of self and a strong second half. However, he noted that Peter Rabbit 2 may not be for the Beatrix Potter purists and has a scattershot quality, but that it remains enjoyable for its brisk 93 minutes. 33. Peter Bradshaw of The Guardian gave the film 2 out of 5 stars, remarking that unlike Paddington, whose literary source material is genuinely funny, this digital Peter Rabbit is never really humorous. It can sometimes be cute or zany and briefly send itself up, but there is fundamentally something pretty straight in its DNA. And so the film rattles inoffensively on, every line and every image seeming as if it has been test-marketed in ways advocated by the wicked Nigel Basil-Jones. 34. Christy Lemire of RoachRebert.com gave the film 2 out of 4 stars, who said by indulging in the exact same instincts it insists are problematic artistically, Peter Rabbit 2 wants to have its carrot and eat it, too. But maybe that won't bother you. Maybe you'll be grateful for a return to the theater and the opportunity to do so with your kids. In that regard, the sequel hops along in sufficiently bouncy fashion. 35. Accolades. At the 11th IACTA Awards, Peter Rabbit 2, The Runaway received nominations for Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Actress, Best Editing, Best Sound, and Best Production Design, and won Best Visual Effects or Animation. 36. The film's visual effects received the Asian Academy Creative Award for Best Visual or Special Effects in TV series or feature film at the third ceremony. Mary Rose Byrne, born July 24, 1979, is an Australian actress. She is known for her roles in films such as Star Wars, Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, 2002, Troy, 2004, 28 Weeks Later, 2007, Bridesmaids, 2011, and the X-Men films, 2011 to 2016. Her accolades include 2 IACTA Awards, a Silver Bear and a Volpe Cup, in addition to nominations for 2 Primetime Emmy Awards and 2 Golden Globe Awards. Byrne made her screen debut in the film Dallas Doll, 1994, and continued to act in Australian film and television throughout the 1990s. She gained her first leading film role in The Goddess of 1967, 2000, which earned her the Volpe Cup for Best Actress. 2. Byrne established herself as a comedic actress with roles in films such as Get Him to the Greek, 2010, Neighbours, 2014, Spy, 2015, and Instant Family, 2018. She also starred in the film series Insidious, 2010 to 2023, as well as in the family film Peter Rabbit, 2018, and its sequel Peter Rabbit 2, The Runaway, 2021. For her performance as a troubled mother in the independent film If I Had Legs I'd Kick You, 2025, she received the Silver Bear for Best Leading Performance. On television, Byrne appeared as Ellen Parsons in the legal thriller series Damages, 2007 to 2012, which earned her 2 consecutive nominations for the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Drama Series. She also portrayed Gloria Steinem in the miniseries Mrs. America, 2020, and led the comedy series Physical, 2021 to 2023, and Platonic, 2023, present. Early life and education. Mary Rose Byrne III was born on 24 July 1979 in Balmain, a suburb of Sydney, New South Wales. She has Irish and Scottish ancestry. 5'6". She is the youngest of 4 children. She has an older brother and 2 older sisters. In a 2009 interview, Byrne said that her mother was an atheist, while both she and her father were agnostic. 7. Her family was described by The Telegraph as close-knit, and frequently kept her grounded as her career took off. 8. Byrne attended Balmain Public School 9 Australian Theatre for Young People, at age 8, encouraged by one of her sisters, 10 and Hunters Hill High School 10 before attending Bradfield Senior College 11 for years 11 and 12. 12. She later lived in the Sydney suburbs of Newtown and Bondi. 13. She auditioned for several major Australian drama school, including Nepean, Wattapot, Nita, but was not accepted into any of them. Instead, she studied an arts degree at Sydney University. 14. In 1999, she studied acting at the Atlantic Theatre Company, which was developed by David Mamet and William H. Macy. Citation needed. Career: 1994 to 2006, beginnings. Byrne obtained her first film role in Dallas Doll, 1994, when she was 15 years old. 13. Throughout the 1990s, she appeared in several Australian television shows, such as Wildside, 1997, and Echo Point, 1995, and starred as the love interest in the film Two Hands, 1999, opposite fellow up-and-coming actor Heath Ledger. A role in the award-winning film My Mother Frank, 2000, was followed by her first leading role in Clara Law's The Goddess of 1967, also 2000, which gained her the Volpe Cup for Best Actress at the 57th Venice International Film Festival. Byrne revealed in a post-award interview that, prior to winning the Venice Film Festival award, she was surprised by her own performance and found it confronting watching the film because her acting was too depressing. Byrne admitted that watching myself is confronting because I'm convinced I can't act and I want to get out, that's how insecure I am. 2. On stage, Byrne starred in La Dispute and in a production of Anton Chekhov's classic Three Sisters at the Sydney Theatre Company. 15. In 2002, she made a brief appearance as Dorm, the handmaiden to Natalie Portman's Senator Padme Amidala, in George Lucas's Star Wars, Episode II, Attack of the Clones. She then transitioned to Hollywood as she appeared in the 2002 thriller City of Ghosts, with Matt Dillon. Byrne had flown to the UK to shoot I Capture the Castle, 2003, Tim Fewell's adaptation of the 1948 novel of the same title by Dodie Smith. In it, she portrayed Rose Mortmain, the elder sister of Romola Garai's Cassandra. In 2003, Byrne starred in 3 Australian films, The Night We Called It a Day, with Melanie Griffith and Dennis Hopper, The Rage in Placid Lake, with Ben Lee, and Takeaway, alongside Vince Colosimo, Stephen Curry, John Howard and Nathan Phillips. All films were comedies and opened to varying degrees of success at the box office, but The Rage in Placid Lake earned Byrne an AACTA Award nomination for Best Actress. In the epic drama Troy, 2004, she took on the role of Breeze Ice, the captured priestess presented to amuse Brad Pitt's Achilles. 16. Variety's review of the film stated, Byrne's Spoils of War chattel plays more as a convenient invention than as a woman who could possibly turn Achilles' head and heart around. 17. In her other 2004 film release, the thriller Wicker Park, Byrne appeared, opposite Josh Hartnett and Diane Kruger, as the girlfriend of a young advertising executive's old friend. 18. Wicker Park director Paul McGuigan described her as the best actress he has worked with, and her Troy co-star Peter O'Toole described her as beautiful, uncomplicated, simple, pure actress and a very nice girl. 19. Byrne reunited with Peter O'Toole, playing a young servant, in the BBC TV drama Casanova, 2005, a 3-episode production about 18th-century Italian adventurer Giacomo Casanova. In 2005, She also starred with Snoop Dogg in The Tenants, based on Bernard Malamud's novel. In 2006, Byrne portrayed Gabrielle de Polastron, Duchesse de Polignac, a French aristocrat and friend of Marie Antoinette, in Sofia Coppola's Marie Antoinette, with Kirsten Dunst, and appeared as a medical examiner who thinks the dead woman she is prepping is her missing sister in the critically acclaimed thriller The Dead Girl 20, directed by Karen Moncrief. 2007 to 2012, Breakthrough. In 2007, Byrne had significant parts in 2 studio sci-fi thriller films. She played a space vessel's pilot 21 in Danny Boyle's 22 Sunshine 23 alongside Cillian Murphy and Chris Evans, and also an Army medical officer in Juan Carlos Fresnadillo's 28 Weeks Later, the sequel to Boyle's 28 Days Later. While Sunshine flopped, 28 Weeks Later was a critical success and grossed over $64.2 million globally. 24 In 2007, Byrne began playing Ellen Parsons, a bright, young attorney, in the FX legal thriller television series Damages, alongside Glenn Close. 25 Her performance was widely praised. She was nominated for Primetime Emmy Awards for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Drama Series in 2009 and 2010, and for Golden Globe Awards for Best Supporting Actress, Series, Miniseries, or Television Film in 2008 and 2010. She appeared in all 59 episodes of the series until its finale in September 2012. 26. Byrne in 2010. Following starring roles in the 2008 independent films Just Buried 27 directed by Chaz Thorne, and The Tender Hook, with Hugo Weaving, Byrne returned to the mainstream with the role of the mother of a teen, alongside Nicolas Cage, in the sci-fi thriller Knowing, 2009. It made $186.5 million worldwide and received mixed reviews. 28 Byrne said she had not yet become strategic about her film choices. "You gravitate to where you want to go, but so much is out of your control," she remarked. After the success of Damages, she asked her agents to send her out for comedies. "I was doing all of this really heavy, dramatic stuff, and I just needed a break," she said. 16 Her request was met when she obtained the role of a scandalous pop star and the on and off girlfriend of a free-spirited rock star in the comedy Get Him to the Greek, 2010, also starring Russell Brand and Jonah Hill. Director Nicholas Stoller admitted that, in her audition, he thought, "Why is she here? Because, you know, very good actress, but very serious." Nevertheless, he noted that Byrne just destroyed in the way that someone from Saturday Night Live would. And that was that. 16 The film was a commercial success, with a gross of $60.9 million in North America. 29. 2011 was a turning point in Byrne's career, when she appeared in 3 high-profile theatrical films, leading to a trajectory that included 3 to 4 films per year. In her first 2011 release, James Wan's horror film Insidious 3031, she starred as a mother whose son inexplicably enters a comatose state and becomes a vessel for malevolent spirits in an astral realm. Budgeted at $1.5 million, it grossed $97 million and began a franchise. 32 The comedy Bridesmaids featured Byrne as the rich, beautiful, elite wife of the groom's boss, alongside Kristen Wiig, Maya Rudolph, Melissa McCarthy, Ellie Kemper, and Wendy McClendon-Covey. It was a critical and commercial success. It grossed $26 million in its opening weekend and eventually over $288 million worldwide. 33, 34, 35, 36. Byrne appeared in X-Men, First Class, directed by Matthew Vaughn. 37 As Moira MacTaggart, a character she described as, "a woman in a man's world, she's very feisty and ambitious, you know, she's got a toughness about her which I liked." 38 She said she was unfamiliar with both the comics and the film series, except for what a juggernaut of a film it was. She was cast late into production. 39 Which had already begun. 'Her 3rd and final 2011 film, First Class, was also a box office success, grossing $353.6 million worldwide. 40. 2013, present, continued comedic roles and insidious films. Byrne at the premiere of I Give It a Year in 2013. Byrne had 4 film releases and 1 short film in 2013. She obtained the part of the newlywed wife, opposite Rafe Spall, in I Give It a Year, a comedy about the trials and tribulations of a couple during their first year of marriage. The Hollywood Reporter found Byrne and Spall to be mismatched, 41, while Variety praised their chemistry and noted, "Year will do nothing but enhance the reputations of its core actors, especially Byrne, who's shaping up into an ace comedian perfectly suited to screwball." 42. The film was a commercial success in the UK and Australia, where it was given a wide release in theaters. 43. In The Place Beyond the Pines, a generational drama directed by Derek Key in France, she appeared with Ryan Gosling and Bradley Cooper, as the wife of a police officer who shoots a bank robber and has to deal with the consequences. 44-45. She played a Google executive in the film The Internship, opposite Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson, as she was drawn to the way it addressed the generational gaps and the ever-changing landscape of the technological world. 46-47. Byrne filmed The Turning, a short film installment in a Tim Winton omnibus feature one, and worked again with fellow Australians Juan and Van Nell for the sequel Insidious, Chapter 2, reuniting with Patrick Wilson and Lin Shaye. 48. The film received mixed reviews from critics. 49. And became the biggest opening day in North America box office history for the month of September following its release. 50. It eventually made over $160 million against a budget of $5 million. 51. 2014 saw Byrne star in the family dramedies Adult Beginners and This Is Where I Leave You, as well as the comedy Neighbors, alongside Seth Rogen and Zac Efron, in which she played one half of a couple who come into conflict with a fraternity that has recently moved in next door. Critics highlighted her performance in Neighbors, with The Atlantic writing, "Byrne walks away with the film by making her character a well-rounded, conflicted person, rather than the film's fun cop who has to tell everyone the boring truth." 52-53. The film was a box office success, taking in $270.1 million worldwide. 54-55. Rose Byrne during the TOE premiere at the 2025 Tribeca Festival. A critically panned but commercially successful remake of the 1982 classic, Annie 56 was released in December 2014 and featured Byrne playing the role of Grace Farrell, the titular character's mother figure and Mr. Stack's faithful personal assistant. In 2015, Byrne reunited with Melissa McCarthy and starred with Jude Law and Jason Statham in the hit comedic action film Spy 56, playing the daughter of an arms dealer, and also starred with Susan Sarandon in the dramedy The Meddler as the daughter of an aging widow who moves to Los Angeles in hopes of starting a new life after her husband passes away. The film was acclaimed by critics and found an audience in limited release. 57. In 2016, she reprised her roles in Neighbors 2, Sorority Rising and X-Men, Apocalypse 58, and in 2017, she filmed the black comedy I Love You, Daddy, directed by and also starring Louis C.K., but it was dropped by its distributor following sexual misconduct accusations made against C.K. In 2018, Byrne voiced Jemima Puddleduck and played a local woman named Bea who spends her time painting pictures of the rabbits in the live-action comedy Peter Rabbit 56, which made $351.2 million worldwide. 59. She reprised her role in the 2021 sequel Peter Rabbit 2, The Runaway. 60. In Juliet, Naked, also 2018, 56, a romantic comedy adapted from Nick Hornby's novel of the same name, she appeared as a woman dating an obscure rock musician, played by Ethan Hawke. The film was an Arthur's success, with Rotten Tomatoes critical consensus reading, "Juliet, Naked." Somewhat familiar narrative arc is elevated by standout work from a charming cast led by a well-matched Rose Byrne and Ethan Hawke. 56. I Am Mother, 2019, is a thriller and sci-fi movie with Clara Regard and Oscar winner Hilary Swank. Byrne co-starred with Adam Devine, Alexandra Shipp, and Wanda Sykes as a voiced a virtual assistant in the movie Jexy, 2019. 56 She voiced Brandy Cattle in Season 3 of Bluey 61 in the episodes, Onesies, and The Sign. In 2025, she received the Silver Bear for Best Leading Performance at the 75th Berlin International Film Festival for her performance as a troubled mother in If I Had Legs I'd Kick You, 2025. 62 later that year, Byrne won the Best Actress award at the 58th Sitges Film Festival for the same role. 63. Public image. Byrne filming The Turning, 2013, in Australia. Byrne has been considered one of the world's most beautiful women. She ranked 9th and 16th in Australian FHM's Sexiest Women in the World, in 2001 and 2006 respectively. She has been featured several times in the annual Independent Critics list of the 100 most beautiful famous faces from around the world, ranking 15th, 2004, 3rd, 2005, 7th, 2006, 5th, 2007, 8th, 2008, 1st, 2009, and 15th, 2010. She was also featured in the Most Beautiful People list of 2007 in Who magazine, and ranked 5th in Hallmark Channel's 2008 TV Sexiest Leading Woman poll. She was voted 78th on Ask Men's Top 99 Most Desirable Woman of 2012 list citation needed, and People ranked her 7th in its Best Dressed Celebrities list of 2015. Byrne was the face of Max Factor between 2004 and 2009 64, and in 2014, she became the face of Oroton, the Australian producer of luxury fashion accessories. 65. Since the beginning of her career, her performances have been acclaimed by critics. 66, 67, 68 in 2018, Byrne was noted for her comedic work. 69 She consciously made the transition to less dramatic material in the late 2000s, finding the idea of being boxed in to be insufferable. 16 You have to be aggressive in this business, she noted. You have always got to push for what you want. Working with Glenn Close, on Damages, she was the hardest worker ever. She was constantly pushing. 16 Her turn to comedy led to The Hollywood Reporter calling her the most in-demand supporting actress for comedies. 70 Decider wrote a story titled How Did Rose Byrne Become One of Our Best Comedic Actresses, in which it was remarked, Byrne's emergence as one of the brightest stars in the Apatowverse is all the more remarkable for her lack of a comedy background. Any doubts about Byrne's massive comedic talent, and after Bridesmaids and Neighbors, you'd have to be pretty stubborn to still have doubts, were put to rest with 2015's Spy, where she again steals the show as merciless terrorist Raina. Byrne and McCarthy's private plane banter is the highlight of the film and could have gone on another 30 minutes as far as I'm concerned. 71. Personal life. Byrne with Bobby Cannavale in 2025. In 2013, Byrne lived in New York and said she remained insecure about a stable career. I don't think that insecurity ever leaves you. You're a freelancer. There's always an element of uncertainty. 1. Byrne has supported UNICEF Australia as the face of the 2007 Designers United campaign, and was a jury member of Trofest in 2006 and Trofest at Tribeca 72 in 2007. She is a graduate and ambassador for NIDA's, National Institute of Dramatic Art, Young Actors Studio. 73. Through her brother George's marriage, Byrne is the sister-in-law of New Zealand actress Rose McIverer. 74. Byrne was in a relationship with Australian actor Brendan Cowell for over 6 years. He moved from Sydney to New York City following Byrne's success on Damages. Their relationship ended in January 2010. 75. Byrne has been in a relationship with American actor Bobby Cannavale since 2012. They have 2 sons, born in February 2016 and November 2017. Doming Al Gleason, /Donnell/DoNL, born May 12, 1983, is an Irish actor and screenwriter. The son of actor Brendan Gleeson, he studied media arts at the Dublin Institute of Technology. He began his career by directing and writing several short films, and garnered a Tony Award nomination in 2006 for his role in the Broadway production The Lieutenant of Inishmore. He had a supporting role in Never Let Me Go, 2010, and became known to a wider audience for his portrayal of Bill Weasley in the last two entries of the Harry Potter film series, 2010 to 2011. Gleeson had starring roles in the period drama Anna Karenina, 2012, the romantic comedy About Time, 2013, the Black Mirror episode Be Right Back, 2013, and the war drama Unbroken, 2014. His career progressed with roles in the films Ex Machina, 2014, Brooklyn, 2015, The Revenant, 2015, and Peter Rabbit, 2018, as well as for his role as General Armitage Hux in the Star Wars sequel trilogy, 2015 to 2019. In 2020, he had a main role in the HBO black comedy series Run. In 2023, he received a Golden Globe nomination for his role in the limited series The Patient, and also starred in the satirical political miniseries White House Plumbers. In 2025, he starred as the lead in the The Office spin-off series The Paper. Early life and education. Domhnall Gleeson was born on 12 May 1983 in Dublin, Ireland. 2. He was raised in Malahide, County Dublin, the eldest son of Mary, née Weldon, and Brendan Gleeson. 3. He has 3 brothers, Fergus, Brian, also an actor, and Rory. 4. He attended Malahide Community School, where he performed in school productions of Grease and King Lear. 5. Gleeson later graduated with a Bachelor of Arts in Media Arts from the Dublin Institute of Technology. 4. Career. 2001 to 2009, beginnings and early recognition. After graduating, Gleeson began directing and writing for both film and stage. He first appeared in the British television miniseries Rebel Heart in 2001 with James D'Arcy and Paloma Beza. 6. Gleeson made his film debut in Martin McDonagh's short film Six Shooter in 2004, which starred his father. The film won the Academy Award for Best Live-Action Short Film. 7. He was featured in a small role in the 2005 horror comedy Boy Eats Girl. 6. In 2006, Gleeson starred in the feature film Studs, with his father appearing alongside him. 6. He was among the main cast members of root comedy television series The Last Furlong in 2005. 6. Gleeson appeared on the Broadway theater show The Lieutenant of Inishmore at age 23, receiving a Tony Award nomination for his role as the dimwit David. 7. 8. In late 2007, Gleeson played Herbert Pocket in the Hugh Leonard adaptation of Charles Dickens's Great Expectations at the Gate Theatre in Dublin. 9. The role was described as being wittily played by Irish independent critic Bruce Arnold. 10. Earlier that year he had a role as Bobby in the David Mamet play American Buffalo, also at the Gate Theatre. 11. 12. In 2008, Gleeson starred in the one-off root comedy sketch show Your Bad Self, which was broadcast on December 26 that year and later developed into a series in 2010. 6. 7. In March 2009, it was confirmed that he had been cast as Bill Weasley in the film Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. 13. 14. His father, Brendan, plays Alastair Moody in the series. 13. 14. Gleeson had initially been reluctant to act alongside his father in the same film but later changed his mind. 15. In 2006, he said of his acting, "I'd been very certain about not wanting to do the acting thing because of my father. I thought I'd always have the father-son thing of he got you the role." 14. The 2009 HBO television film A Dog Year starring Jeff Bridges, featured Gleeson as handyman Anthony Armstrong. 16. Also that year, in the film Sensation, Gleeson played the role of a young farmer whose soulless encounter with a call girl develops into a bittersweet love story. 17. 18. 2010 to 2014, career breakthrough. Doming Gleeson at the 2011 Berlin International Film Festival. His first release of 2010 was the dystopian romance Never Let Me Go, starring Carey Mulligan, Keira Knightley, and Andrew Garfield. 19 Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Part 1 was released in November 2010, with the Part 2 being released the following July. His portrayal of Bill Weasley, Ron Weasley's older brother, exposed Gleeson to a wider audience. 20 The multi-Academy Award-nominated Coen Brothers film True Grit featured Gleeson as Moon, a young outlaw. 19 His short comedy film, Noreen, starring his father and brother, was shown at the Tribeca Film Festival. 21 He portrayed musician Bob Geldof as he organizes the 1985 Live Aid concert in the television film When Harvey Met Bob, which was broadcast on BBC 4 on December 26, 2010. 22 Gleeson won the 2011 IFTA Award for Best Actor for his performance in the film. 23. In the drama Shadow Dancer, released in August 2012, he played an IRA member whose own sister informs on him to the MI5. 24 Gleeson played landowner Kostyalevin in the historical romance Anna Karenina, based on the Leo Tolstoy novel. 25 The Daily Telegraph critic Tim Robey praised his performance, saying Gleeson nails Levin's adorable self-seriousness without sentimentalizing what can make him hard work. 26. His final release of 2012 was the science fiction action film Dredd starring Karl Urban as the titular Judge Dredd, in which he played an unnamed computer expert working for the gang Dredd battles against. 27. Gleeson made a guest appearance in Be Right Back, an episode of the science fiction anthology series Black Mirror in 2013. Starring alongside Hayley Atwell, he played a man who is killed in a car crash, but returns to his lover as a synthetic android clone of himself. 28 Later in 2013, Gleeson starred in About Time, a romantic comedy written and directed by Richard Curtis. 29 The story follows a young man, played by Gleeson, who uses time travel to win over an American girl, played by Rachel McAdams. Filming took place in London, England, in June 2012. 29 In a largely negative review, Catherine Shayward of The Guardian described Gleeson as a ginger Hugh Grant, although she noted that the effect, at first, is unnerving. As About Time marches on, Gleeson's innate charm gleams through and this weird disconnection becomes quite compelling. 30. In Lenny Abrahamson's Frank, 2014, he portrayed John, a wannabe musician who joins the band of the eccentric, papier-mâché head-wearing titular character played by Michael Fassbender. 31 Gleeson played a small role as a psychotic killer in the Irish drama Calvary, starring his father as a Catholic priest who visits him in prison. 32 His last release of 2014, was Angelina Jolie's directorial debut, the war film Unbroken. In the film, Gleeson portrayed a soldier lost at sea after a plane crash in Pacific Ocean during the Second World War. He lost what he described as a sizable amount of weight for the role. 33 Along with his father and brother Brian, Gleeson created and stars in the Immaturity for Charity comedy sketches, which raise money for the St. Francis Hospice in Raheny, Dublin. 34 Gleeson directed and starred in a music video for the Squarehead charity single 2025 in 2014, with all proceeds going to Immaturity for Charity. 34. 2015 to 2019, leading roles and mainstream films. The year 2015 saw Gleeson appear in 4 films, all of which received Oscar nominations. 35 His first release of the year was the science fiction psychological thriller Ex Machina, which was filmed at a hotel in Valldalen, Norway in the summer of 2013 and released in January 2015. 36 The film stars Gleeson as a programmer who wins a competition to visit the home of his company's CEO, Oscar Isaac, and test the human qualities of the artificially intelligent humanoid robot Ava, who is played by Alicia Vikander. The film was the directorial debut of Never Let Me Go and Dread screenwriter Alex Garland and their third collaboration. 37 Ex Machina was met with critical acclaim for its performances, screenplay, direction, and visual effects. 38 In the romantic period drama Brooklyn, he appeared in a supporting role as a romantic interest of Saoirse Ronan's character, a young Irish woman living in Brooklyn in the 1950s. 39 Gleeson was announced to be a part of the Star Wars sequel trilogy in April 2014. 40 The first installment, Star Wars: The Force Awakens, was released in December 2015. Gleeson plays the ruthless General Hux, commander of the First Order's Starkiller base. 41 Throughout the film, Hux is vying for power with First Order Commander Kylo Ren, who is portrayed by Adam Driver. 42 In his last release of the year, Gleeson co-starred in Alejandro G. Inarritu's western The Revenant as fur trader Andrew Henry, with Leonardo DiCaprio portraying fur trapper Hugh Glass. 43 Alongside his brother Brian and his father Brendan, Gleeson starred in a revival of the Enda Walsh play The Walworth Farce from January to February 2015. 44 In February 2016, Gleeson narrated the BBC Two nature documentary series Earth's Greatest Spectacles. 45. Gleeson at a premiere for Brooklyn in September 2015. Gleeson played fashion house Burberry's founder, Thomas Burberry, in a short Christmas-themed advertisement film for the company in 2016. 46 He made a guest appearance on the Channel 4 sitcom Catastrophe as a recruitment consultant in March 2017. 47 Gleeson then played fictional CIA agent Monty Schaefer in American Made, released in September 2017, starring Tom Cruise as drug smuggler Barry Seal. 48 Also in September, Gleeson had a small role in Darren Aronofsky's psychological horror film Mother, in which he shared significant screen time with his brother, starred alongside Christina Applegate and Thomas Hayden Church in the independent comedy Crash Pad 49 and portrayed Winnie the Pooh creator A. A. Milne in the biographical film Goodbye Christopher Robin. 48 His portrayal of Milne was deemed as being played a little too stiffly by BBC critic Nicholas Barber. 50 Gleeson reprised his role as General Hux in Star Wars: The Last Jedi, released in December 2017. 51. In his first film of 2018, Gleeson co-starred as National Lampoon magazine co-founder and writer Henry Beard in the biographical comedy A Futile and Stupid Gesture, opposite Will Forte as the magazine's co-founder Doug Kenny. 52 Gleeson next starred in Peter Rabbit, 2018, based on the stories of the character of the same by Beatrix Potter, as Thomas McGregor, the great-grandnephew and heir to Mr. McGregor. 53 The adaptation received a mixed reception from critics, although Deadline Hollywood critic Pete Hammond praised an appealing Gleeson for overcoming the unlikable aspects of Thomas. 54 The film fared better at the box office, grossing over $350 million globally. 55 Gleeson starred alongside his brother and father in the short film Psychic, which was directed by the latter and premiered in 2018 on Sky Arts. 56. Also in 2018, Gleeson starred in the supernatural thriller The Little Stranger, with Ruth Wilson. 57 The story concerns a country doctor, Gleeson, who takes on a patient living in a possibly haunted old estate, where he falls in love with the owner's youngest daughter, Wilson. 57 It was Gleeson's second collaboration with director Lenny Abrahamson, following Frank. 57 He next featured in a supporting role in the crime drama The Kitchen, 2019, as an intense Vietnam War veteran who becomes a hitman for the Irish mob. 58. In late 2019, Gleeson returned to the role of General Hux in Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, the last film of the 9-movie series. 59. 2020, present, television roles and theater. The start of a new decade saw Gleeson pivot into television roles. In 2020 he co-starred opposite Merritt Wever in Run, an American comedy thriller television series created by Vicky Jones that premiered on April 12, 2020 on HBO. In July 2020, HBO cancelled the series after one season. 60 He reprised his role as Thomas McGregor in Peter Rabbit 2, 2021. 61 In 2021 he starred in Frank of Ireland, an Irish comedy television series that he co-created with his brother Brian Gleeson and close friend, Michael Maloney. It was co-produced by Sharon Horgan. It premiered in the United Kingdom on Channel 4 on April 15, 2021 and Australia, Canada, and the United States on Amazon Prime on April 16, 2021. 62 The series received mixed reviews from critics. Brian Gleeson confirmed in 2022 that the series would not be returning. 63. Gleeson returned to theatre in 2021 starring in Enda Walsh's Medicine. It received its world premiere at Edinburgh International Festival in August 2021 prior to its opening at GIAF 2021 in September and New York transfer to St. Anne's Warehouse in November. 64 Gleeson received acclaim for his performance and was nominated for Best Actor in the Irish Times Theatre Awards. 65. In 2022, he starred in the FX on Hulu psychological thriller limited series The Patient as Sam Fortner, a serial killer, alongside Steve Carell. 66 He received Golden Globe and Critics' Choice nominations for his role in the limited series. In 2023 he continued his work in television by portraying John Dean in the satirical political miniseries White House Plumbers. In August 2023, it was announced that Gleeson would star in Alice and Jack, a television series made for Channel 4. He is also credited as a co-producer. 67 The series will premiere on PBS Masterpiece on March 17, 2024. 68 The series was released on Channel 4 on February 14, 2024 and received mixed to negative reviews from critics, with praise for Gleeson's acting, but with criticism over the plot and character arc. 69. In August 2023 Gleeson starred in the music video for De Selby, Part 2, by Irish singer-songwriter, Hozier. 70 The video was filmed in County Wicklow. 71 Gleeson voiced the role of Lawrence in James Acaster's scripted podcast Springleaf. It is presented as a true crime podcast, with the framing device of Springleaf playing wire recordings of his most important case. After its second episode, Springleaf topped the Spotify podcast chart in the UK and Ireland. 72 He also voiced the character of Boy in the 2023 animated short story Worry World. In April 2023, it was confirmed that Gleeson would star in Echo Valley, an American thriller film directed by Michael Pears, written by Brad Inglesby, and starring Julianne Moore and Sydney Sweeney. 73 In January 2024 it was announced that Gleeson had joined the cast of Guy Ritchie's Fountain of Youth opposite John Krasinski and Natalie Portman in an undisclosed role. 74. Recognition. Gleeson was listed at number 21 on the Irish Times list of Ireland's greatest film actors. 75. Personal life. Doming all with his father Brendan at the Toronto Film Festival 2015. Gleeson has said that it never crossed his mind to change his surname at the beginning of his career to stay out of his father's shadow. His reasoning was that his father was not as well known internationally at that time, and everyone in the Irish film industry already knew of their relationship. 76-77. Gleeson met and befriended Irish producer Juliette Bonas while they were in college. 78-79-80 In 2023, Gleeson and Bonas married. 81 Gleeson and Bonas have worked together on a number of projects, including Your Bad Self, Immaturity for Charity and Psychic. Citation needed. Alongside his father, Gleeson is an ambassador for St. Francis Hospice, Dublin, after both his paternal grandparents received end-of-life care in St. Francis Hospice in Raheny. 82 In 2013 Gleeson penned a series of comedy shorts in aid of St. Francis Hospice in Raheny and Blanchardstown, called Immaturity for Charity. The sketches were billed as a lowbrow comedy fundraiser and starred Gleeson alongside appearances from his father and brother. The sketches also included Amy Huberman, Lawrence Kinlan, Tad Murphy, Hugh O'Connor, and others. 83. He shares a love of the English football team Aston Villa with his father Brendan. He described the team's FA Cup semi-final win over Liverpool at Wembley Stadium in 2015, as one of the great days of my life. 84. As of 2021, Gleeson was residing in Ballsbridge, Dublin. David Oyetokunbo Oyelawo, /Ojelowo/Oyelowo, Yoruba pronunciation 1-2, born April 1, 1976, is a British actor, director, and producer. His accolades include a Critics' Choice Award and 2 NAACP Image Awards, as well as nominations for 3 Golden Globe Awards, 2 Primetime Emmy Awards, a Screen Actors Guild Award, and a BAFTA Award. In 2016, he was appointed an Officer of the Order of the British Empire, OBE, for his services to drama. Oyelawo rose to prominence for portraying Martin Luther King Jr. in the biographical drama film Selma, 2014, and Peter Snowden in the HBO film Nightingale, 2014, both of which garnered him critical acclaim. He also achieved praise for his roles as Lewis Gaines in The Butler, 2013, Saret Sekama in A United Kingdom, 2016, and Robert Catend in Queen of Katwe, 2016. He has also played supporting roles in the films Rise of the Planet of the Apes, 2011, The Help, 2011, Lincoln, 2012, Red Tails, 2012, and Jack Reacher, 2012. On television, Oyelawo has played MI5 officer Danny Hunter in the British drama series Spooks, 2002 to 2004, and Javert in the BBC miniseries Les Miserables, 2018. He also provided the voice for Agent Alexandra Callis in the Lucasfilm animation series Star Wars Rebels, 2014 to 2018, and Halston Becker in the Apple Plus drama series Silo. He stars in and co-produces the 2023 Paramount Plus Western series Lawmen, Bass Reeves. Early life and education. Oyelawo was born on 1 April 1976, 34 in Oxford, Oxfordshire, 5 to Nigerian parents. 6-7 His father, Stephen 8 is from Oyo State, southwest Nigeria, while his mother is Igbo from southeast Nigeria. 9 He was brought up as a Baptist. 8 He grew up on an estate 8 in Tooting Bec, South London, until he was 6, when his family moved to Lagos 710 Nigeria, where his father 8 worked for the national airline and his mother worked for a railway company. Oyelawo grew up idolizing Sidney Poitier and Denzel Washington. 7. Oyelawo is an Omoba, or prince, of the Yoruba people in the Nigerian chieftaincy system, his grandfather having been king of a part of Oyo State called A. He has commented of his background, "It sounds way more impressive than it actually is. There are so many royal families in Africa, 8 royal families are a dime a dozen in Nigeria too. What we think of as royalty in the UK is very different to royalty in Nigeria. If you were to throw a stone there, you would hit about 30 princes. So, it's a bit more like being the Prince of Islington. It was useful for getting dates but probably not much else." 11. Oyelawo attended a military-style boarding school named Lagos State Model College Myron, now Lagos State Model Junior College Myron. 8 His family returned to London when Oyelawo was 14, 12 settling in Islington. 8. While enrolled in theatre studies at City and Islington College, his teacher suggested that he become an actor. Oyelawo enrolled for a year in an acting foundation course, at the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art, Lambda. 8 He finished his 3-year training in 1998. 13. He also spent time with the National Youth Theatre. 14. Career. Stage. He began his stage career in 1999 when he was offered a season with the Royal Shakespeare Company playing roles in Ben Jonson's Volpone, as the title character in Oruniko, which he also performed in the BBC radio adaptation, and Shakespeare's Antony and Cleopatra, 1999, alongside Guy Henry, Francis de la Tour and Alan Bates. However, he is best known for his next stage performance as King Henry VI in the Royal Shakespeare Company's 2001 productions of Shakespeare's trilogy of plays about the king as a part of its season This England, The Histories. In a major landmark for color-blind casting, Oyalawa was the first black actor to play an English king in a major production of Shakespeare, and although this casting choice was initially criticized by some in the media, Oyalawa's performance was critically acclaimed and later won the 2001 Ian Charleson Award for Best Performance by an Actor Under 30 in a Classical Play. In 2005, he appeared in a production of Prometheus Bound, which was revived in New York City in 2007. In 2006, he made his directorial debut on a production of The White Devil, produced by Inns of Ice, his theater company in Brighton, which is co-run with fellow Brighton-based actors Priyanka Burford, Israel Aduramo, Penelope Cobbold, and his wife, Jessica. 15 He played the title role in Othello in 2016 at the New York Theatre Workshop with Daniel Craig as Iago, directed by Sam Gold. 16 In 2024, he starred in the Royal National Theatre production of Coriolanus. Television. Oyalawa is best known for playing MI5 officer Danny Hunter in the British drama series Spooks, known in North America as MI5, from 2002 to 2004. He had before that appeared in Tomorrow La Scala, 2002, Maisie Rain, 1998, and Brothers and Sisters, 1998. Soon after the end of his time on Spooks, Oyalawa also appeared in the two Christmas specials of As Time Goes By, 2005. In 2006, he appeared in the television film Born Equal alongside Nikki Amukabird as a couple fleeing persecution in Nigeria. They also both appeared in Shoot the Messenger, 2006, and in the No. 1 Ladies Detective Agency, 2008, as a husband and wife. Other cameos have included Mayo, guest starring on April 30, 2006, and the television film Sweet Nothing in My Ear, 2008, as defense attorney Leonard Grisham, while he has played recurring or main characters in 5 Days, 2007, and The Passion, 2008, as Joseph of Arimathea. In December 2009, he played the leading role of Gilbert in the BBC TV adaptation of Andrea Levy's novel Small Island. 17 In March 2010, he played the role of Kem Tobodo in the BBC's drama series Blood and Oil. 18 He starred in the HBO original film Nightingale, 2014. Citation needed. He stars in and co-produces the 2023 American Western series Lawmen, Bass Reeves, based on the life of former slave Bass Reeves who, after the American Civil War, became one of the first black deputy U.S. Marshals, and the first west of the Mississippi River. 1920. Voice acting. He appeared as Olada Equiano in Grace Unshackled, the Olada Equiano story, a radio play adapting Equiano's autobiography, the interesting narrative of the life of Olada Equiano. This was first broadcast on BBC 7 on April 8, 2007, with his wife Jessica Oyalawa as Mrs. Equiano. In 2007, Oyalawa was the reader for John L. Ecare's The Mission Song. Audiophile magazine stated, "Think of David Oyalawa as a single musician playing all the instruments in a symphony. That is essentially what he manages in this inspired performance of John L. Ecare's suspense novel. Can it really have been only one man in the narrator's recording booth? This virtuoso performance makes that seem impossible." 21. In 2015, he was selected to portray James Bond in an audiobook version of Trigger Mortis, written by Anthony Horowitz. 22. As of 2014, he provides the voice of Imperial Security Bureau agent Alexandra Callis on the animated series Star Wars Rebels. 23. As of 2017, Oyalawa voices the spirit of Scar, the main antagonist in Season 2 of The Lion Guard. Oyalawa voiced the tiger in a television adaptation of The Tiger Who Came to Tea which aired on Channel 4 for Christmas 2019. 24. Film. In 2012, Oyelowo appeared in Middle of Nowhere. Writer-director Ava DuVernay had been a fan of his work and had considered asking him to take the role. However, before she could, Oyelowo received the script coincidentally from a friend of DuVernay's who happened to be sitting next to him on the plane and was considering investing in the project. 25 The film premiered at the 2012 Sundance Film Festival to critical raves. That same year Oyelowo appeared in Lee Daniels' The Paperboy, which competed for the Palme d'Or at the 2012 Cannes Film Festival. 26 Oyelowo reunited with Daniels the following year in The Butler. 27. In 2014, Oyelowo formed his own independent production company, Yoruba Saxon Productions, which has co-produced movies that featured him including Nightingale, Captive, 5 Nights in Maine and most recently, A United Kingdom. 28. He worked with DuVernay again for Selma, 2014, playing civil rights activist Martin Luther King Jr. The film, based on the 1965 Selma to Montgomery voting rights marches, had originally been set to be directed by Lee Daniels, but the project was dropped by Daniels so he could focus on The Butler. He was slated to star with Lupita Nyong'o in a film adaptation of the Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie novel Americana, but scheduling conflicts meant the project never moved forward. In February 2019, it was announced that Oyelowo had joined the Peter Rabbit cast with James Corden, Rose Byrne, and Domhnall Gleeson reprising their roles as the title character, Bea and Thomas McGregor, for its sequel released in March 2021. 29:30. In 2020, Oyelowo starred alongside George Clooney in the Netflix film The Midnight Sky. 31 More recently, his Yoruba Saxon company signed a first-look deal with Disney. 32 The first film to come out of the deal will be The Return of the Rocketeer, a Disney Plus exclusive sequel to the 1991 film The Rocketeer, which Oyelowo will produce alongside his wife, Jessica, and Brigham Taylor. 33 Oyelowo is also being considered to star in the film, which will center on a retired Tuskegee Airman who takes up the Rocketeer mantle. 33. Awards and honors. For his portrayal of Martin Luther King Jr. in Selma, Oyelowo received the NAACP Image Award for Outstanding Actor in a Motion Picture. He received his first Golden Globe Award nomination for Best Actor in a Motion Picture, Drama, while also receiving a nomination for Critics' Choice Movie Award for Best Actor. 34. Also in 2014, for his performance in Nightingale, he won the Critics' Choice Television Award for Best Actor in a Movie/Miniseries and was nominated for the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Limited Series or Movie, Golden Globe Award for Best Actor, Miniseries or Television Film, NAACP Image Award for Outstanding Actor in a Television Movie, Miniseries or Dramatic Special, and a Satellite Award for Best Actor, Miniseries or Television Film. Oyelowo was appointed Officer of the Order of the British Empire, OBE, in the 2016 New Year Honours for services to drama. 35. In 2024, Oyelowo was nominated for the Golden Globe Award for Best Actor, Miniseries or Television Film for his performance in Lawman, Bass Reeves as Bass Reeves. 36. Personal life. He is married to actress Jessica Oyelowo 9, whom he met at Lambda and with whom he has 4 children. They lived in Brighton 37 before moving to Los Angeles, California. 7 Oyelowo is a pescatarian. 38. A devout Christian. 10 Oyelowo has stated that he believes God called him to play Rev. Martin Luther King Jr. Reflecting on his portrayal of King in the film Selma, Oyelowo has asserted, "I always knew that in order to play Dr. King, I had to have God flow through me, because when you see Dr. King giving those speeches, you see that he is moving in his anointing." 39. A dual citizen, Oyelowo and his wife became naturalized U.S. citizens on July 20, 2016. 41 On doing so, he stated, "I did a film called Selma, and that film centers on voting rights, and I've lived here for nearly 10 years now, and to be walking around and doing a film about voting rights and telling people to vote, and you can't vote yourself is a little hypocritical. I decided it's time to do it, and no time better than now. 40. He expressed solidarity with Palestine during the Gaza war. Oyalawa, as part of a group called Artists for Ceasefire, signed a letter urging then-US President Joe Biden to call for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza in October 2023. James Kimberly Corden, born 22 August 1978 is an English actor, comedian, writer, producer, singer, and television host. 3. In the United Kingdom, he is best known for co-writing and starring in the critically acclaimed BBC sitcom Gavin and Stacey. In the United States, he gained recognition as the host of The Late Late Show with James Corden, a late-night talk show that aired on CBS from 2015 to 2023. Originally airing from 2007 to 2010, Corden co-wrote and co-starred with Welsh actress Ruth Jones in Gavin and Stacey, for which he won the BAFTA Television Award for Best Comedy Performance. He was featured, along with grime artist Dizzy Rascal, on the UK #1 single Shout. Corden created his carpool karaoke sketch in 2011. He hosted the Brit Awards, 2009, 2011 and 2014, the Tony Awards, 2016 and 2019, and the Grammy Awards, 2017 and 2018. From 2010 to 2019, he presented the panel show A League of Their Own on Sky One. Corden has acted in films, including Gulliver's Travels, 2010, Kill Your Friends, 2015, and Peter Rabbit, 2018, and its 2021 sequel, in which he voiced the title character. He also acted in the musical films Into the Woods, 2014, Cats, 2019, The Prom, 2020, and Cinderella, 2021. In 2011, Corden starred in the National Theatre show One Man, Two Governors, which transferred from the West End to Broadway, where Corden won the Tony Award for Best Actor in a Play. 4. In 2015, he received the BAFTA Britannia Award for British Artist of the Year. 5. Corden has been nominated for 29 Primetime Emmy Awards, winning 12 in total, including for The Late Late Show, Carpool Karaoke, and hosting the 70th Tony Awards. He was appointed an Officer of the Order of the British Empire, OBE, in the 2015 New Year Honours for services to drama. 6. Early life and education. Corden was born in Hillingdon, Greater London 7, the son of Margaret and Malcolm Corden. His father was a musician in the Central Band of the Royal Air Force, and later became a salesman of Christian books and Bibles. 8. Corden's mother was a social worker. 10. He grew up in Hazelmere, Buckinghamshire. 11. And attended Park Middle School and Holmer Green Upper School. 2. He has 2 sisters. 12. Career. 1996 to 2006, early career. Corden's first stage appearance was at the age of 18, with a one-line part in the 1996 musical Martin Gare. 13. His first TV reporter role was on the BBC's Good Morning with Anne and Nick, interviewing Meat Loaf. 14. His early television work included Gareth Jones in the 1999 series Boys Unlimited. He also starred in Tango advertisements in 1998, had a role as a bookish student in Teachers, and in 2000 had a small part in an episode of Hollyoaks. Corden had guest appearances on Little Britain and Dalziel and Pascoe, both in 2004. Corden's early film credits include Whatever Happened to Harold Smith? 1999, Mike Leigh's All or Nothing, 2002, Heartlands, 2002, and Cruise of the Gods, 2002. 15. From 2000 to 2005, Corden starred on the British television series Fat Friends as Jamie Reimer. He garnered a nomination for the 2000 Royal Television Society Award for Network Newcomer on Screen for his work. Beginning in 2004, Corden played the role of Tims in the original London stage production of Alan Bennett's play The History Boys, as well as in the Broadway, Sydney, Wellington, and Hong Kong productions. He also was in the radio and 2006 film adaptation versions of the play. 16, 17, 18 In 2006, he appeared in the film Starter for 10. 15. 2007 to 2010, Gavin and Stacey and Rise to Prominence. Corden co-created the sitcom Gavin and Stacey with Ruth Jones. From 2007 to 2010, Corden co-starred in his own series, the BBC Three sitcom Gavin and Stacey. He co-wrote the series with his Fat Friends co-star Ruth Jones. Corden and Jones played the friends of the title characters, with Corden starring as Smithy. The series proved popular and was well received critically. For the show, Corden won Best Male Comedy Performer and Gavin and Stacey won Best New British Television Comedy at the 2007 British Comedy Awards. 19 At the 2008 Television BAFTAs, Corden won the BAFTA for Best Male Comedy Performance, and Gavin and Stacey won the BAFTA's Audience Award for Program of the Year. 4:20 In December 2008, the show won Best TV Comedy in the 2008 British Comedy Awards. Gavin and Stacey also won the award for Most Popular Comedy Program at the National Television Awards in 2010. 21 In 2019, Gavin and Stacey returned for a Christmas special, with the episode achieving the highest Christmas Day viewership in the UK for more than a decade. 22. During the 2-year and 7 months run of Gavin and Stacey, Corden's professional endeavors outside the successful series proved somewhat checkered. 13 He guest hosted Big Brother's Big Mouth, with Gavin and Stacey co-star Matthew Horne, in August 2007. In 2008, he appeared in the film of Toby Young's 2001 autobiography How to Lose Friends and Alienate People. He collaborated again with Horne on a 2009 sketch show named Horne and Corden, described by the BBC as a traditional comedy entertainment show in the style of Morecambe and Wise. 23 The show ran for only one series and was poorly received by the critics, with Corden later admitting the absolute truth is I wasn't good enough. 24. In 2009, Corden starred as the lead character in the film Lesbian Vampire Killers, which was not successful. That year he played Clem Catanei in the Joe Meek biopic Telstar, and likewise in the animated Planet 51 along with Matthew Horne. 15-23 In February 2009, he co-presented the Brit Awards with Horne and Kylie Minogue. 25 In March 2009, he appeared in a sketch for the UK charity telethon Comic Relief giving the England football team a motivational talk, and later presented a section with Horne showing their best bits of comedy from the previous 2 years along with highlights from the night. 23. In March 2010, Corden began hosting the Sky One comedy/sports panel show A League of Their Own alongside team captains Andrew Flintoff and Jamie Redknapp. 26 In March 2010, he presented Sport Relief 2010 alongside Davina McCall and others. 27 Contributing a sequel to the 2009 England football team sketch, this time giving a motivational talk to various sports stars including David Beckham and motor racing driver Jenson Button. 28-29. In March 2010, Corden took part in Channel 4's Comedy Gala, a benefit show held in aid of Great Ormond Street Children's Hospital, filmed live at the O2 Arena in London. On June 5, 2010, he performed his England World Cup single with Dizzy Rascal on the finale of Britain's Got Talent. The proceeds from the single went to London's Great Ormond Street Hospital. 30. In June 2010, Corden played Craig Owens in the Doctor Who episode The Lodger, in which the Doctor moved in with him. Corden returned as Owens in Closing Time in the 6th series. 31-32 In December 2010, This Is JLS, an hour-long Christmas special featuring the boy band and the X Factor runners-up, was aired on ITV1, with Corden writing and producing some of the sketches featured in the special. In 2010, he was in the main cast of the film Gulliver's Travels. 15 In December 2010, he was part of an ensemble voice cast in the English dub of the German animated film Animals United alongside Jim Broadbent, Jason Donovan, Joanna Lumley, Billy Piper, Andy Serkis, and others. 33. 2011 to 2014, One Man, Two Governors. Corden arriving at 10 Downing Street to interview then British Prime Minister David Cameron in March 2014. In February 2011, Corden presented the 2011 Brit Awards. In March, Corden reprised his Gavin and Stacey role as Smithy in a Red-Nosed Day sketch for the charity telethon Comic Relief. The sketch included appearances by then UK Prime Minister Gordon Brown, JLS, Paul McCartney, and Justin Bieber. The show also saw the first appearance of his Carpool Karaoke sketch, which saw him singing songs with pop star George Michael while driving around London. 34. In 2011, he appeared in The Three Musketeers. 15. Starting in June 2011, Corden played the lead role in the hit comedy play One Man, Two Governors. The play was cinecast worldwide as part of the National Theatre Live cinecasts, and transferred from the National Theatre to the West End after touring. The show received universal critical acclaim and won Best Play at the Evening Standard Theatre Awards for 2011. 1635 The Guardian deemed it a triumph of visual and verbal comedy. One of the funniest productions in the National's history. 36. The Daily Telegraph described it as the feel-good hit of the summer. 37 While The Independent called it a massive hit. 38 And the Evening Standard a surefire hit. 39. Corden made a cameo appearance in the music video for the single Mama Do the Hump by Rizzle Kicks, released in December 2011, which reached number 2 in the charts. In April 2012, One Man, Two Governors transferred to Broadway, with Corden continuing to play the lead. In June 2012, he won the Tony Award for Best Performance by a Leading Actor in a Play for his performance. 4. In February 2012, Corden hosted the Brit Awards for the third time. Corden starred as the baker in the Disney film adaptation of the musical Into the Woods, 2014. 40 In 2015, Corden narrated Roald Dahl's Igio Trot, a BBC television film adaptation of Roald Dahl's classic novel. Adapted by Richard Curtis and co-starring Dustin Hoffman and Judi Dench, it was broadcast on BBC One on January 1, 2015. 41 In 2016, he appeared in the animated comedy film Trolls as Biggie, a chubby friendly troll. 42. For his next project, Corden teamed up with friend and fellow Gavin and Stacey star Matthew Bainton to create, write, and star in The Wrong Mans, a 6-part comedy thriller for BBC Two. The premiere was in September 2013. 43 The series was co-produced by online television provider Hulu in the United States and it began airing in November 2013. 44. 2015 to 2023, The Late Late Show and Stardom. The Late Late Show with James Corden said. Main article, The Late Late Show with James Corden. In March 2015, Corden succeeded Craig Ferguson as host of the American late-night talk show The Late Late Show. 45, 46, 47 Corden's most popular comedic segments included Drop the Mic, Fill Your Guts or Spill Your Guts, Crosswalk the Musical, and Carpool Karaoke. 48. Talking to David Tennant on his BBC podcast. David Tennant does a podcast with. Tennant asked how much of The Late Late Show was him and how much was acting, to which Corden replied, "I would hope it's a close strain to me, I would hope that I am someone who looks for the joy in things and stuff, you're not pause ever really being your self." 49. Corden's Carpool Karaoke through the streets of London with pop singer Adele, a sketch that was featured on his talk show in January 2016, was the biggest YouTube viral video of 2016. 50 Corden did numerous editions of Carpool Karaoke with singers such as Sir Elton John, Stevie Wonder, Mariah Carey, Madonna, Jennifer Lopez, Harry Styles, and Katy Perry. 51 Apple TV Plus adapted the segment into a streaming series Carpool Karaoke, the series. Corden's special Carpool Karaoke, when Corden met McCartney, live from Liverpool with Sir Paul McCartney, was a viral and critical success, earning a Primetime Emmy Award nomination and win for Outstanding Variety Special. 52 In the special, Corden and McCartney sang the Beatles songs Drive My Car, Penny Lane, and Let It Be. The pair stopped by a Penny Lane street sign, which McCartney signed. McCartney pointed out various Liverpool landmarks, including St. Barnabas Church, where he had been a choir boy, and also visited his childhood home. The special ended with McCartney and his band surprising a small group of locals at Liverpool's Philharmonic pub with a 13-song set that included A Hard Day's Night, Back in the U.S.S.R. and his new single, Come On To Me. 53-54. Corden hosted the Tony Awards in 2016 and 2019 55, 56, 57 and the Grammy Awards in 2017 and 2018. 58-59 In 2018, the Seatbelt Psychic television series was produced by Corden and his production company Fulwell 73 for Lifetime platform. 60-61. In 2019, Corden starred in Tom Hooper's feature film adaptation of Andrew Lloyd Webber's popular musical Cats as Bustopher Jones 62, which received widespread negative attention. The film also featured Jennifer Hudson, Idris Elba, Taylor Swift, Ian McKellen, and Judi Dench. Some critics called it one of the worst films of the year due to its poorly conceived CGI and off-kilter comedic performances from Rebel Wilson and Corden. 63-64 For his performance, Corden received the Razzie Award for Worst Supporting Actor of the Year. 65 Lloyd Webber was a vocal critic of the film, specially criticizing Corden's performance, adding he begged for it to be cut. 66. Corden's leading role in the 2020 musical comedy film The Prom received negative reviews, and was named one of the worst performances of the 21st century by Vanity Fair's Richard Lawson. 67, 68, 69 Lawson elaborated, writing, Corden, flitting and lisping around in the most uninspired of caricatures, misses all potential for nuance, and thus never finds even a hint of truth in the role. His portrayal of a gay man while he himself is straight was deemed offensive by many film critics and members of the LGBTQ community, with critics adding that the performance perpetuated and capitalized on stereotypes of gay white men. 70 Corden received an even larger amount of backlash when this performance earned him a Golden Globe Award nomination for Best Actor in a Musical or Comedy Film. 71, 72, 73. Corden also received negative reviews for his performance in the 2021 adaptation of Cinderella, a film that he produced. Clarice Luffrey of The Independent wrote, James Corden has made a #girl boss fairytale only a voracious capitalist could love. 74. In 2021, the Late Late Show segment Spill Your Guts or Fill Your Guts was criticized for its racist use of Asian cuisine, such as balut and chicken feed. Celebrity guests were made to eat foods that Corden had judged to be horrific and disgusting or answer a difficult personal question. 75 Corden later agreed to change the foods used. 76. In April 2022, Corden announced that he would be leaving The Late Late Show in 2023. 77. 2024, present, The Constituent and Gavin and Stacey finale. On March 20, 2024, it was announced that Corden would make his return to theater, starring as Alec in a new political drama by Joe Penhall called The Constituent, opposite Anna Maxwell Martin and directed by Matthew Warchus. The play ran at the Old Vic in London from June 13 to August 10, 2024. 78 Once again teaming up with Ruth Jones, together they wrote and starred in the final episode of Gavin and Stacey, airing on Christmas Day 2024 on BBC One, 17 years after the show was first broadcast. In September 2025, Corden returned to Broadway at the Music Box Theatre playing Ivan in the revival of Yasmin Arez's play Art opposite Bobby Cannavale and Neil Patrick Harris for a limited season, directed by Scott Ellis. 79. Influences. Corden has said that his comedy influences are Graham Norton, Chris Evans, Jonathan Ross 80, Conan O'Brien 81, David Letterman 82, and Stephen Colbert 83. Personal life. Corden shared a flat with the History Boys co-star Dominic Cooper for several years. 84. Cooper introduced Corden to his future wife Julia Carey, whom Cooper had known for years. 85. 86. Corden married Carey on September 15, 2012. 87. The Cordens have 3 children. 88. 89. 90. Corden is a supporter of Premier League football club West Ham United. 91. Corden was appointed Officer of the Order of the British Empire in the 2015 New Year Honours for services to drama. 92. 93. He received the honour from Princess Anne during a ceremony at Buckingham Palace in June 2015. 94. Corden resides in Los Angeles with his family. 95. He maintains a home in Belsize Park, London. 96. And Temple Combe House at Wargrave in Berkshire. 97. In April 2020, during the COVID-19 pandemic, Corden paid the salaries of furloughed employees on The Late Late Show. 98. He also launched a fundraising campaign with the NBA to benefit Feed the Children. 99. In January 2022, Corden announced that he had tested positive for COVID-19. He mentioned that he was fine and that he was already fully vaccinated and boosted. 100. In 2022, Corden was banned from New York restaurant Balthazar by proprietor Keith McNally, after reportedly being abusive and extremely nasty to staff. The ban was later rescinded after Corden apologized to McNally in private and in public, admitting that he had been ungracious. Margot Elise Robbie, /Margot Robbie, born July 2, 1990, is an Australian actress and producer. Known for her work in both blockbuster and independent films, her accolades include nominations for 3 Academy Awards, 4 Golden Globe Awards and 6 BAFTA Awards. Time named Robbie one of the 100 most influential people in the world in 2017, and Forbes named her the world's highest paid actress in 2023. Born and raised in Queensland, Robbie began her career in 2008 on the television series Neighbours, on which she was a regular until 2011. After moving to the United States, she led the television series Pan Am, 2011 to 2012, and had her breakthrough in 2013 with Martin Scorsese's black comedy film The Wolf of Wall Street. She achieved wider recognition with starring roles as Jane Porter in The Legend of Tarzan, 2016, and as Harley Quinn in the DC Extended Universe, 2016 to 2021. Robbie received critical acclaim and a nomination for the Academy Award for Best Actress for her portrayal of figure skater Tonya Harding in the biopic I, Tonya, 2017. This acclaim continued for her performances as Queen Elizabeth I in Mary Queen of Scots, 2018, Sharon Tate in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, 2019, and a Fox News employee in Bombshell, 2019. The last of these earned her a nomination for the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. Robbie has since starred as an aspiring actress in the period film Babylon, 2022, and the titular fashion doll in the fantasy comedy Barbie, 2023, which emerged as her highest-grossing release and, as its producer, earned her a nomination for the Academy Award for Best Picture. Robbie and her husband, filmmaker Tom Ackerley, co-founded the production company Lucky Chap Entertainment in 2014, under which they have produced several films, including I, Tonya, Promising Young Woman, 2020, Barbie, and Saltburn, 2023, as well as the Hulu series Dollface, 2019 to 2022, and the Netflix miniseries Made, 2021. Early life and education. Margot Elise Robbie was born on July 2, 1990 in Dalby, Queensland, to Doug Robbie, a former farm owner and sugarcane tycoon, and Sari Kessler, a physiotherapist. 1-2-3. She is the second youngest of 4, older siblings Anya and Lachlan and younger brother Cameron. 4-5 Her parents separated when she was 5. 6 Robbie and her siblings were raised by their single mother and had minimal contact with their father. The family spent the majority of Robbie's upbringing on her grandparents' Currumbin Valley Farm 7 in the Gold Coast hinterland. 8-9 As a child, Robbie often put on shows at home. 10. Her mother enrolled her in a circus school, where she excelled in trapeze, in which she received a certificate at age 8. 11 In high school, Robbie studied drama at Somerset College. 12 As a teenager, she worked 3 jobs. She tended a bar, cleaned houses, and worked at Subway. 13-14 After graduation, with a few commercials and independent thriller films on her resume, Robbie relocated to Melbourne to begin acting professionally. 15. Career. Main articles, Margot Robbie filmography and list of awards and nominations received by Margot Robbie. 2008 to 2012, Early Work and Neighbors. Robbie at the 2011 Logie Awards. Robbie's first acting roles came when she was in high school. She starred in 2 low-budget independent thriller films, called Vigilante and ICU, both released years later. She described the experience of being on a film set as a dream come true. 16 She made her television debut in a 2008 guest role as Caitlin Brentford in the drama series City Homicide and followed this with a 2-episode arc in the children's television series The Elephant Princess, in which she starred alongside Liam Hemsworth. 17. With agent encouragement at the time and as Robbie recalled on the Graham Norton show 18 she called Fremantle Media on a daily basis. One day, I got put through by accident to the casting director for Neighbours, and she said, "I'm in town working on something." The casting director asked how old she was, and she responded 17. She was told, "We're looking for exactly that, come in and audition." 18 For the television soap opera Neighbours. In June 2008, she began playing Donna Friedman, a role that was meant to be a guest character, but Robbie was promoted to the regular cast after she made her debut. 19 In her 3-year stint on the soap, she received 2 Logie Award nominations. 20. Shortly after arriving in America, Robbie landed the role of Laura Cameron, a newly trained flight attendant in the period drama series Pan Am, 2011. The series premiered to high ratings and positive reviews but was cancelled after 1 season due to falling ratings. 21-22. 2013 to 2015, Breakthrough. Robbie next appeared in Richard Curtis' romantic comedy About Time, 2013, co-starring Domhnall Gleeson and Rachel McAdams. It tells the story of a young man with the ability to time travel who tries to change his past in hopes of improving his future. To play Gleeson's unattainable teenage love interest, she adopted a British accent. 23 The film was a modest commercial success. 24 Robbie's breakthrough came the same year with the role of Naomi LaPaglia, the wife of protagonist Jordan Belfort, in Martin Scorsese's biographical black comedy The Wolf of Wall Street. In her audition for the role, Robbie improvised a slap on co-star Leonardo DiCaprio during a fight scene which ultimately won her the part. 25 The film and her performance received positive reviews. She was particularly praised for her on-screen Brooklyn accent. 26 Critic Sasha Stone wrote of Robbie's performance, "She's Scorsese's best blonde bombshell discovery since Kathy Moriarty in Raging Bull. Robbie is funny, hard, and kills every scene she's in." 27. The Wolf of Wall Street was a box office success, grossing $392 million worldwide, making it Scorsese's highest-grossing film to date. 28 Robbie was nominated for the MTV Movie Award for Best Breakthrough Performance and won the Empire Award for Best Newcomer. 29. Robbie at the 2015 San Diego Comic-Con. She later said that the fame and attention the movie brought her led her to consider quitting acting, but her mother was philosophical about her profession and explained to her that it was probably too late to quit. She fully understood and stuck with it. 30 With the aim to produce more female-driven projects, Robbie, and her future husband, Tom Ackerley, and their respective longtime friends Sophia Kerr and Josie McNamara, started their own production company Lucky Chap Entertainment. The company was founded in 2014, and its name was inspired by Charlie Chaplin. 6. Robbie appeared in 4 films released in 2015. The first of these was opposite Will Smith in Glenn Ficarra and John Requa's $158.80 million grossing romantic comedy drama film Focus. In the film, she played an inexperienced grifter learning the craft from Smith's character. She learned how to pickpocket from Apollo Robbins for the role. 3132 reviews of the film were generally mixed, but Robbie's performance was praised. Peter Travers of Rolling Stone wrote, "Robbie is wow and then some. Even when Focus fumbles, she deals a winning hand." 33. She was nominated for the Rising Star Award at the 68th British Academy Film Awards. 34. Her next appearance was alongside Michelle Williams and Kristen Scott Thomas in Saul Dibbs' war romantic drama Suite Française, a film based on the second part of Irina Nemirovsky's 2004 novel of the same name. In the film, she played a woman falling for a German soldier during the German occupation of France during World War II, a role which Leslie Fulperin of The Hollywood Reporter found underwritten. 35. She followed this with Craig Zobel's post-apocalyptic drama Z for Zachariah opposite Chris Pine and Chiwetel Ejiofor, in her first leading role. Partially based on Robert C. O'Brien's book of the same name, the film follows Anne Burton, Robbie, as she finds herself in an emotionally charged love triangle with the last known survivors of a nuclear disaster that wipes out most of civilization. In preparation for the film, Robbie dyed her hair brown and learned to speak in an Appalachian accent. 36. The film received positive reviews, and Robbie's performance was widely praised, with Drew McWeeny of HitFix asserting that Robbie's work here establishes her as one of the very best actresses in her age range today. 37-38. Her fourth release of 2015 was a cameo appearance in Adam McKay's comedy drama The Big Short, in which she breaks the fourth wall to explain subprime mortgages while in a bathtub. The Big Short was a commercial and critical success, and Robbie's cameo became a trending topic 6 years later, in the wake of the GameStop short squeeze, as her explanation provided reference points for what was happening with the GameStop and related stocks. 39. 2016 to 2018, worldwide recognition. In 2016, Robbie reunited with Ficarra and Requa, playing a British war correspondent in the film adaptation of the Taliban Shuffle, called Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, co-starring Tina Fey and Martin Freeman. 41 later that year, Robbie took on the part of Jane Porter in David Yates's adventure film The Legend of Tarzan. She was adamant about not losing weight and ensuring the role was not a damsel in distress like in previous Tarzan adaptations. 42 reviews of the film were generally unfavorable. 43 but Manala Dargis of the New York Times credited Robbie for holding her own in her supporting role alongside the all-male cast with Alexander Skarsgård and Samuel L. Jackson. 44. Robbie in 2016. Robbie became the first person to portray DC Comics villain Harley Quinn in live action when she signed on to David Ayer's 2016 superhero film Suicide Squad alongside an ensemble cast that included Will Smith, Jared Leto, and Viola Davis. She admitted to having never read the comics, but felt a huge responsibility to do the character justice and satisfy the fans. 45 Robbie began preparing for the role of the supervillainess 6 months prior to the film shoot. Her schedule consisted of gymnastics, boxing, aerial silk training and learning how to hold her breath underwater for 5 minutes. She performed the majority of her own stunts in the film. 46 Suicide Squad was a commercial success and was 10th highest grossing film of 2016 with global revenues of $746.8 million, and Robbie's performance was considered its prime asset. 47 Writing for Time, Stephanie Zacharek found Robbie to be a criminally appealing actress, likable in just about every way despite finding flaws in the character. 48 and Christopher Orr of The Atlantic called her performance genuinely terrific. 49 At the annual People's Choice Awards ceremony, She won the Favorite Action Movie Actress Award and was also awarded the Critics' Choice Movie Award for Best Actress in an Action Movie. 50-51 In October 2016, Robbie hosted the season 42 premiere of NBC's late-night sketch comedy Saturday Night Live. Her appearances included a parody of Ivanka Trump. 52 The series logged its strongest season premiere ratings in 8 years. 53 Robbie collaborated with Domhnall Gleeson in Simon Curtis' Goodbye Christopher Robin, 2017, a biographical drama about the lives of Winnie the Pooh creator A. A. Milne and his family. The film, and her performance, received modest reviews and was a commercial failure. 54-55. Her final release of 2017 and Lucky Chap Entertainment's first release was Craig Gillespie's sports black comedy I, Tonya, based on the life of American figure skater Tonya Harding, Robbie, and her connection to the 1994 assault on rival Nancy Kerrigan. In preparation, Robbie met with Harding, watched old footage and interviews of her, worked with a voice coach to speak in Harding's Pacific Northwest accent and vocal timbre at different ages, and underwent several months of rigorous skating instruction with choreographer Sarah Kawahara. 56-57 I, Tonya premiered at the 2017 Toronto International Film Festival to critical acclaim. 58 James Luxford of Metro deemed it Robbie's best performance to date, and Mark Kermode of The Observer wrote, Margot Robbie's performance in this satirical, post-modern tale of the disgraced star is a tour de force tornado that balances finely nuanced character development with impressively punchy physicality. 59-60 She received numerous accolades for her performance, including nominations for an Academy Award, a BAFTA Award, a Golden Globe Award, a Screen Actors Guild Award and a Critics' Choice Movie Award, all for Best Actress. 61. Robbie began 2018 with the voice role of Flopsy Rabbit in Peter Rabbit, an animated comedy from director Will Gluck, which is based on the Beatrix Potter book series. The animated feature was a box office success, grossing $351.3 million worldwide against a production budget of $50 million. 62 Her next two 2018 films, the neo-noir thriller Terminal and comedy horror Slaughterhouse Rulez, were critical and commercial failures. The historical drama Mary Queen of Scots, directed by Josie Rourke, was her final release of 2018. The film featured Saoirse Ronan as the titular character and Robbie as her cousin Queen Elizabeth I, and it chronicles the 1569 conflict between their two countries. Robbie had initially turned down the role for being terrified of not living up to the history of portrayals of the Queen. 63 Before each day of shooting, she spent 3 hours in the makeup chair while a prosthetic nose, painted on boils and blisters were applied. 64 Critics dismissed the film for its screenplay and several historical inaccuracies, but praised the performances of Robbie and Ronan. 65 Yolanda Machado of The Rap wrote, "Bow down to Ronan and Robbie for taking two legendarily complex characters, and completely owning both roles. Ronan's fiery Mary and Robbie's emotionally complex Elizabeth truly reign divine on screen." 66. For her portrayal, Robbie received nominations for a BAFTA Award and for a Screen Actors Guild Award. 67. 2019, present, established actress and producer. Robbie at the premiere of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood in 2019. Robbie's first release of 2019 was the Lucky Chap Entertainment production Dreamland, a poorly received period crime thriller set during the 1930s Dust Bowl. 68 She began executive producing the comedy series Dollface, which streamed on Hulu from 2019 to 2022. 69 Robbie was filmmaker Quentin Tarantino's only choice to portray the late actress Sharon Tate in his period film Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt. 70 With the Tate, LaBianca murders serving as a backdrop, the film tells the story of a fading character actor, DiCaprio, and his stunt double, Pitt, as they navigate New Hollywood in 1969 Los Angeles. 71 Feeling an enormous sense of responsibility, Robbie prepared for the role by meeting Tate's family members and friends, watching all of her films and reading the autobiography by Tate's then husband, Roman Polanski. 72 Once Upon a Time in Hollywood premiered at the 2019 Cannes Film Festival to critical acclaim, and was a commercial success with a worldwide gross of $374.3 million. 73 Despite many bemoaning Robbie's lack of lines in the film 74, Robbie Collin of the Daily Telegraph highlighted a scene with Robbie in the cinema, which he found to be the film's most delightful scene. 75 Also in 2019, she starred as Kayla Pospisil, a composite character based on several Fox News employees, in Jay Roach's drama Bombshell. Co-starring Charlize Theron and Nicole Kidman, the film recounts stories of various female personnel at the news network and their sexual harassment by the network's chairman Roger Ailes. 76 Robbie based her character's accent on Katherine Harris. 77 The film received positive reviews. 78 Kenneth Turan of the Los Angeles Times wrote, "Robbie is at her best, the arc of her story is so crushing that it stays with you the longest." 79 For her performances in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Bombshell, she received 2 nominations for the BAFTA Award for Best Actress in a Supporting Role (AAD), and for the latter she received nominations for an Academy Award, a Golden Globe and a Screen Actors Guild Award, all in the Best Supporting Actress category. 81 Robbie began the new decade by reprising the role of Harley Quinn in Kathy Yan's Birds of Prey, 2020. Determined to make a female ensemble action film, she pitched the idea for the film to Warner Brothers in 2015. Robbie spent the subsequent 3 years developing the project under her production company, making a concerted effort to hire a female director and screenwriter. 82 Birds of Prey, along with Robbie's performance, gained generally positive reviews. 83 84 85 Ian Freer of Empire wrote that the MVP is Robbie, who lends Harley charming quirk and believable menace, hinting at Harley's inner life without reams of dialogue. 86 She received 2 nominations at the 46th People's Choice Awards. 87 Robbie served as a producer on Promising Young Woman, 2020, a comedy thriller by writer-director Emerald Fennell, starring Carey Mulligan as a woman who seeks to avenge the rape and death of her best friend. The film received acclaim. 88-89 earning a nomination for the Academy Award for Best Picture. 90 In 2021, Robbie reprised her voice role as Flopsy Rabbit in Peter Rabbit 2, The Runaway, which received mixed reviews and grossed $153.8 million worldwide. 91-92 She also made her third outing as Quinn in the standalone sequel The Suicide Squad, written and directed by James Gunn. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the film was simultaneously released theatrically and on the streaming service HBO Max. Owen Gleiberman praised Robbie's delectable performance in it.